Hi, my name is Susan and I'm here to talk about twin flames today. So I've been thinking a lot about how I could manage to describe this concept so it could be easily digestible. So as I understand it, and of course, you have to come up with your own conclusions about everything about life, about who you are in this life, about your purpose and all that stuff. But I'm just here to share my views on it. Okay. So as I understand it, the soul is the creative spark. It is love itself that is within our body and doesn't leave our body until the moment that we stop breathing in this world, until we cross over to the other side. So our soul, you can say, are atoms. Okay. So this is how I'm going to describe it. So this is a quartz rock, right? It's a clear one, so it's a really beautiful one and it has some weight to it. But the soul itself has no weight because it is not bound by time nor space. And that goes into densities and dimensions, which we will not get into today, but I will do that in another video. So this I would consider a soul monad. It is a cluster, if you will. And then from this soul monad, the sparks break out, which is how you come into being here in a body, in matter. So this would be the twin flames. So it's still part of the whole, but they're having a different experience. They came out of the whole to have a different experience. They're all from the same source, though. That's the key. So we're all one. Some souls decided to split, which is what the twin soul is. I have another quartz here to show that. So this would be the representation of a twin soul pair. So as you can see, they're separated, but together nonetheless. This one, we could say, is the female or the feminine energy, and this one is the male or the masculine energy. Each person has feminine and masculine energies within self. And our job here is to balance these energies within ourselves so we could have that show up in our relations with others, in our unions. So this feminine aspect of us is the creator. It's the creative aspect. It's the creator. It's love, if you will. The masculine energy is more about doing action, and it's very goal-oriented. It is the I am presence that is within you. It's light, so it holds information. They're very interchangeable, but there are certain differences as well. So as I understand it, we choose. That is our free will, right? We, as a soul, we choose to split. When we choose to split our energies, one of the souls chooses to hold more of the masculine energy. The other soul, therefore, has more of the feminine energy. And then that beautiful balancing act starts. So the flame itself is the flame within you that gets sparked once you come into contact with your twin soul. It starts an alchemical process where you go into deep healing because we need to heal so we can realize our truth and so we could realize our true potential. Okay, so the thing is that not every soul decided to split. some souls decided to have an experience on their own, which means those souls did not, since they did not split, they did not create a twin soul, twin flame experience. The thing with this is that, from what I understand, we are wanting to come back to unity. We want to come back to wholeness, which means that regardless of whether you believe yourself to be a twin flame or a twin soul or not, if you believe yourself to be a whole soul, it's all good, because we're all connected and we're all one. We're all part of that whole existence, consciousness, if you will. I have the consciousness card here, so it's actually very helpful. It is just existing. Consciousness just exists, and that is what we hold within ourselves as a soul and a spirit. So the spirit is like breath. So as soon as we take our breath, there is our spirit. And I don't want to get into a lot of that, but as I understand it, if you are a twin soul, if you chose a twin soul, twin flame experience, you are probably either in the process of reawakening, or you have been going through an awakening process to your truth for quite a while. So as I understand it, there are different levels. Level 1, they're the forerunners. I don't consider myself as that, because people have been in the twin flame journey for a lot longer than I have awakened to. How do you know you have a twin flame, or that you are a twin flame? So the way to know that you are a twin flame is a knowing within you. No one can tell you whether you are or you aren't, because that is what the healing is all about. It is about reaching your own conclusions. It is about returning to your soul self, your higher self. So the soul is a speck of your higher self. And then we can go into the dimensional aspects of that higher self. But to keep it really simple, in the 3D, in the third dimensional realm, we are here in matter. And we forget that we have eternal divinity within us. And our job is to remember that we are sovereign, and to remember that we are actual divine creators. We are part of that whole source, if you will. And it's really a beautiful journey once you look at it from that perspective. The thing is that we have a lot of resistance. We have built a lot of resistance throughout eons, throughout lifetimes, and that is why our soul is purifying itself now, because we are remembering who we truly are. We are remembering that we have all the answers within us. However, if we get stuck in the conditioning that we've been born into, if you will, it gets a lot harder. And whatever you resist persists. So the key to awakening and to realizing your true potential is actually surrendering. So, and there goes the paradox, right? In the world, in this reality, there's so much paradox, and we have come here to Earth to experience duality. But in reality, there is no duality. And that is a totally different subject, which we'll not get into today, but it's all about the balancing within. How do you know you're a twin also is by the energy itself. So when you come in contact with your twin soul, the other aspect of you that holds the other energy, whether it's the feminine or the masculine energy, when you come into contact with that other being, the other aspect of you that is in another body, the alchemical process starts. And that can take you by surprise. I mean, for me, it definitely did take me by surprise. It felt like these horrible symptoms. I mean, not everyone will experience this, but for me, my heart was so closed up, and so it wanted to protect itself so much so that when I came into contact with my twin soul, it felt like I was dying. It felt like I could not breathe. It felt like my heart wanted to come out of my chest because I was doing all that I could throughout these years trying to hide my heart so I could protect it. So when I came into contact with the other aspect of myself, it was eye-opening and it was like earth-shattering because all the old things that I believed in had to be completely abolished. They had to be, it's like a rebirth process. And that could feel very painful. But hopefully, well, not hopefully, I know that it's all part of that beautiful process, that journey of the soul coming back to itself. It's about the union within self. And that is why the flame sparks, because it's a purification process. And it's like the phoenix. The phoenix is the bird that has to continuously die and be reborn from its own ashes. And that is the process, the alchemical process that happens with twin souls and twin flames. So again, the flame is the flame within yourself that sparks once you come into contact with your other aspect, your twin soul aspect. So the thing that happens also is that the twin soul pair, I feel like whoever is holding the feminine aspect gets really frightened and wants to get rid of the feminine aspect as soon as he or she possibly can. And then that's when the dance happens, and that's when, trouble sometimes sets in, because it's like a ping pong sort of game happening. No one really wants to hold that feminine aspect for a long time because it's really uncomfortable. You have to basically surrender to it, allow it to unfold naturally and organically for the whole balancing act to do its job. So you could find the wholeness within yourself, and then you can have that shown from the outside. So that would be reflected by coming together in wholeness and in balance with your other self, your twin soul, your other twin flame. So I hope that clears up that. Can you have more than one twin flame? I mean, it's called a twin for a reason, right? It's a split, so it's two. Otherwise, you would be triplets or quadruplets or however many there are. And that is okay, because if that is what your soul chose to experience at this time, it's more of an aspect. So everyone mirrors each other, and that's why relating to others and relationships are so important, and they're so key in our evolutionary process and in our ascension, because we can see things within ourselves that are mirrored back to us from another aspect of us. Now, when you're talking about twin souls and twin flames, that is magnified and amplified to like 1,000 at least. So instead of having one aspect mirrored back to you from someone else that you come into contact with, you are surrounded by like a mirage, and you're surrounded by all the delusions that you have like learned throughout your lifetime now and in other lifetimes. And that is why it's so key to come back into balance within self. And that is why it's too much to hold that twin flame energy for too long. And that's why you need a break. That's why you need to come back to yourself, to find the answers within yourself, and stop focusing so much on what's happening on the outside, because the outside is just a reflection. The outside is just an illusion, if you will, of what's happening within you. So if there's chaos outside, that's like a perfect signal and signpost that you need to focus within and to see what is happening and what is being triggered within you, that your outside reality is reflecting that. So, I mean, I hope that this clears up the twin flame, twin soul concept. And if you have questions or if you have comments, I invite you to interact with me. I'm really into interaction, because regardless if I'm triggered or not, I'm always learning. I'm always learning, as you are as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I've had a great time trying to explain this concept. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.